Howdy do. Karen Adamski here with ShamaMama.com, and I have been on the road a lot for the last month or so. As I've been traveling, I've been painting in my moleskin journal, and I have been using my new gouache set. So gouache paint is a bit like watercolor, but it's thicker and more opaque. It's made up of pigment, which is the color, and water, and kind of a glue-like substance that sort of binds it all together. And when you paint with it, the colors are bright and solid. And you can even water them down so that you can play with your tones, and you can paint light colors over dark colors, which you typically cannot do with watercolor. So this gouache paint, I have found, is really fun to play with, and it's great for beginners and seasoned artists. So after a month of practice, I have become fond of this set, and I'd like to share it with you. So let's go play with some gouache paint. Okie dokie artichoke, let's get painting. So our tools for today are gouache paints, or any paints that you have, a spray bottle. With the gouache set, the spray bottle is really kind of important because we need that moisture, a paintbrush set, and rinse water, and a little palette, and something to paint on. And I've been using this moleskin journal to paint in, and this is great when I'm traveling, so I can just, paint for a few hours on one page, or for a few minutes on one page, but it really gives me a place to do some hefty painting rather than just a small travel journal. And I like this because it fits in my carry-on case. So this is all these colors that you're seeing here, these are all done with the gouache set. So I've been traveling with the gouache paint set, and I've been traveling with this journal. I've really been enjoying this gouache set and using these colors. And what I've learned is that they're kind of a combination, that the feel to them like an oil or an acrylic. You can get them that thick, or you can really water them down like a true watercolor. Now, when you get this set, they will come, these little tubs in here come sealed up, so you have to unseal them. And then you get to kind of play around with the paint itself. And over time, you'll find that your little tubs start to get messy because you get to spray them when you use them, you get to mix them when you use them, you get to scoop stuff out of them, and they get a little bit messy, but that's just going to happen. What also happens is they dry out a little bit. So all you have to do to wake them up is spray them with water. So you can get some nice kind of clumpy paint or texture here. You can get a gloppy texture, something similar to an acrylic or even an oil, or you can really water it down, like I said, and turn it into a liquid, a pure liquid on another palette. So our tools for today, we will be using, of course, paint brushes, and I'm just going to use kind of this medium large one, probably for most of it, because I'm just spreading color here. Going to spray this first page with some water, not too much, but I definitely want to get it moistened up. And then I'm just going to dip without putting any extra water here, and let the water on the canvas kind of illuminate or wake up the paint itself. It's fun to play with this gouache set because there's so many different tones and textures really that you can get with this. So you can start with a real heavy paint, or you can start with a watered down paint. Then you can water it down while it's on the paper. You can reignite it once it has dried. So it's really fun to just play around and see what kinds of textures you get, see what kinds of overlapping can happen, and the colors that pop out with that magic. Here's a little bit of lavender, and it's really thick. So I'm really going to give it some good water here and liquid it up. And that's like a watered down acrylic. It's the feel of that, or a watered down watercolor, really. Now, if I want to thicken it up, I just put a little bit more of that gouache, the drier gouache in there. And so when I get what I want, then I can play with that. I chose this lavender because I thought it looks nice with the pink, and I like to overlap as I'm spreading color and see what tones I might get from that overlapping. That's where the magic happens. This is a real dark, dark blue. I think it's the darkest blue on this palette. And I love this because it looks like the ocean. That's what it reminds me of, the ocean or Lake Tahoe. And you see how you can get two different tones there. One's the little bit more thick, has that darker color, and the watered down one is lighter in color. This is really easy to just play around and mix things up. This is a great activity to just start painting colors without any kind of intention at all. Just blending, playing with the colors, choosing colors that you like together, giving thought to when I put that yellow down on that blue, yellow and blue makes green. When I put that yellow down on the pink, it's probably going to turn kind of orange. So I'm giving thought to that. I don't want to put the yellow and the purple too much because that's going to kind of turn brown. Not that there's anything wrong with brown, but I'm wanting this to be light, happy rainbow colors. That's what I'm looking for here. So I'm just going to continue to paint, spreading colors and water, and having fun here. I invite you to do the same. Have fun playing with those colors. I always love bringing orange into pink and yellow. I love that color combination. I love blues and greens. So take a look at what you like on your canvas. This yellow ochre, this is one that I like to use. It's kind of a light brown and you think, it's okay. But once you put it down with the other colors, it really livens everything else up. It's like a little bit of an unexpected color in there. You see how everything else starts to kind of pop when you put that yellow ochre in? I just love that. So take this time to play around with the different textures, the different thickness of the paint, the different colors, and see what makes your eye happy. What are your favorite color combinations? As an artist, using any kind of medium, I like to put a lighter tone on top of a darker tone. The same color, but different tones, and layer them. Maybe do a light and a dark and a light, but giving that color some depth by bringing those tones together really deepens up that particular color that you're working with. Bringing white helps. I usually use more white at the end, white and black, and I kind of stick to the colors during this process because I'm just getting all of these colors down, and then we're going to see what catches our eye. What have we done once we put all the color down? We're going to take a look at that. And remember, there are no expectations here. We're not putting any picture down. We're just playing with colors and textures. And now let's bring in some white just for some zip and seasoning. And you'll notice here I have sped up the video. And this is just for time's sake. But please know that you should be taking your time and absolutely not try to keep up with me here or in any other video. Just go at your own pace. Now, you might be wondering if you can mix acrylic with your gouache, and the answer is yes, you absolutely can. I do like to bring in some acrylic later on once I've got my color down with the gouache. Then I'll kind of highlight certain areas with acrylics. Here you see I'm using turquoise and I'm using white, and that turquoise brings in kind of a thicker line more of an opaque line, which is another texture, which makes our eye happy. And of course, turquoise is a nice color with what we've got going on here. So I'm just going to kind of drag some of these acrylic colors in here, just a few here and there. Now that we have some forms down on our sheet, it's a good time to bring in some black as well. That white and black is kind of like the salt and pepper, the seasoning that's really going to make things start to pop. And it's okay to keep layering your colors here. When you see an area that might need a little bit more blue or more green, go ahead and spread that, layer that. Just have fun continuing to layer colors. And when you see a shape that might catch your eye, go ahead and outline that, or drag some colors in to accentuate maybe a flower or a sunbeam or an eyeball, whatever it is that you see on your canvas. Go ahead and give it a little what's what. At this stage, dots are fun to put in, circles, just any little shapes echoing one another. If you see a line that needs to be accentuated, go ahead and do that. This is kind of the final touches to make everything pop. Just have fun. Again, no expectations. We're just looking at colors and shapes. Check out how pretty all of these colors are. I just love the transparency and the ability to blend the colors easily. It turns out really nice. And this is a good time to bring in a pen of some sort, but not a Sharpie. We don't want to use a Sharpie on the gouache. We want to use some sort of an acrylic pen, like a Posca pen, and that will flow nicely for you. So it's a great time to just bring in some extra shapes. If you want to just use your black gouache paint, that's great as well, using a small brush and just dragging some black in to accentuate certain shapes, to highlight lines, to put a dot on top of a dot, whatever catches your eye. Go ahead and sprinkle that black throughout your piece. Now, because we have both gouache and acrylic on our canvas, sometimes when we are painting with the gouache, when we hit the acrylic paint, it's not going to absorb into the canvas as well. So take a look at this circle. That white that's there, that's acrylic white. And you see how the black gouache doesn't quite absorb into that acrylic. That's because acrylic is made of plastic and it's kind of a barrier. So it's okay, this is going to dry and look just fine. It's just that it doesn't quite absorb as fast as it would if you were putting it on the paper. Sometimes it's hard to put the black on top of something that already looks so pretty, but you'll see here, it really livens everything up. We really need that black and the white to accentuate all of the colors and make everything pop. And next I'm going to bring in a white Posca pen and do the same thing, just adding little white details here and there, but you get a lot of control with the pen versus the brush. And again, it's adding almost a different texture, a different kind of dot. And that's just adding to the whimsy and the interest. Again, you can also use your white gouache, just like the black, but being sure that we sprinkle some white all across the canvas. It's important. And sometimes what I like to do is just splatter some white paint or some dark paint for a light interest or dark interest. So today I'm going to just sprinkle some of this white here. Really easy. Again, no expectations, but giving a little bit of extra interest. You see how pretty that looks? I'm going to use my Posca pen for some more detail work. And at this point, I always want to make sure that my pen is shaken, that the paint is all nice and shaken up, and that the tip is clean. So I'll just put it onto a paper towel. And what happened when I just did that is that big blob there came out. I kind of got a spill from my paint. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. We could leave it, or we can choose to use this as an opportunity to be even more creative. I think what I'm going to do is bring in a straw and simply blow that paint around while it's still wet. Just to give it some interest. I don't know. I just felt the blob looked fine, but I think it was going to remind me of a mistake. So, this might also remind me of a mistake, but what it's doing is giving us something unexpected, giving us something to play with. So rather than being like, oh, shoot, I just spilled my paint, I'm going to use it in a creative way. So all I'm doing is blowing into a straw and making that paint move. It's showing flow and splatter. And now you can kind of start to see the paints underneath the white are starting to bleed through. So we're getting some blending and muddying of color. So we'll see what we're going to do with this. For now, I'm going to stop and let it dry and come back to the canvas with a clear mind and see where I'm going to go from there. To be continued. Alrighty, we are back. The paint is dry and I've got my gouache paints out. I am going to use this white blob and let's see if you can guess what I'm going to turn it into. I saw a bird's nest and a bird in that white blob, so that's what I am painting in very loosely. And then once I have my nest here, I realize that the nest needs to be supported by some branches. So I'm going to put some branches in. So I'm just kind of giving this some overall shape, giving it some greenery, giving that bird shape some life, and bringing in some more branches to hold it up. So remember, this bird and this little tree and this nest all started from that spill of white paint, because that's what I saw in the spill when I stopped and slowed down and took a look at it. That's what we call divination. When you see something, a picture in something, a picture in wood grain or a picture in the clouds, that's divination. So when you put down a lot of color a lot of painting and layering, you can step back and use that as a form of divination and see, what do you see inside of that painting? And then you can give it form. And as I continue painting, I'm simply using gouache and sometimes acrylic together. Just highlighting all of those details and bringing this bird and its nest into a nice form. Putting in some eggs and layering. That's what it's all about. And I think we're just about done here. I'm just putting in some final details. But overall, that little mistake turned into a happy mistake. Brought us some extra joy. 3 little eggs and 1 blue mama. And a lot of explosion of color behind her. And more importantly, during this time of creation, I was able to calm my mind and get into that creative meditation. Thanks for being with me. Stay creative, my friend. Namaste.